Figma CEO just said on camera that he'd rank OpenAI's models third, and that taste is now life or death in software. Has design quietly become more important than raw AI horsepower?
We can be a center of gravity for product teams building software, and a place where you can, regardless of where you start, whether it be, shower thought, napkin sketch, brainstorm, design, code, terminal, whatever, wherever you start, you want to be able to go everywhere in that process at different times. How do we let you do that in Figma? And how do we let you do it with your team? Is something that we're really excited about. And I think that the way that's getting reflected in terms of non-designers now getting involved in the design process is incredible. And we had a really amazing quarter because of this. And I think we'll continue to see more people getting involved in design, because design is now how you win or lose.
You have accelerating growth among the customers driving these Q4 results. How much of that is from existing customers effectively paying more versus new customers on the platform?
A mix always, but what we've been very excited to see is how those existing customers continue to expand, and they do it in a way where it's not just hiring designers, which they're doing too, and they're doing a lot of that. There's a bit of a design talent arms race going on. But also, we're seeing more non-designers contributing to the design process now and getting really involved in design. I think this is why we're seeing so much rhetoric and talk about taste right now. With everyone in Silicon Valley saying that taste is now a core skill, and it's all about taste. This is what we've been thinking for the history of Figma, of course. That design is a differentiator, and that craft point of view, that's what's going to set you apart. But what really matters right now, I think, is that you have the ability to create something unique and to actually stand out from the market.
Earlier this week, Figma announced a partnership with Anthropic that bridges Claude's coding tools and Figma's design processes. And I asked Field about his view of the different large language models.
I've used basically all the models right now. And
so which one do you use the most right now?
I'm not your average person on this. I don't watch Netflix. Instead, I jailbreak models for fun. And I explore them deeply to understand what they're capable of. And I use all of them for that reason. So I'm not probably the right.
I know, but come on, just stack rank them in this moment. I'll stack rank them for you right now in this moment.
Go for it. Yeah,
of course, this could change in a month or two. in this particular moment, I would put Claude at the top of the list, and maybe put Gemini even at 2 and OpenAI at 3. It depends sort of what the use case is. And by the way, I probably wouldn't have given you that ranking 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I probably would have had Gemini at the top, OpenAI maybe vying for 2 with Claude, depending on the use case. And I would bet that if we had this conversation a month from now, I might put OpenAI back at the top, depending on whatever you think their next release looks like. And that's what
you beat me to the punch. I think.
Changing.
Yeah, you beat me to my what I was going to say, which is depends on your use case and the details of your use case. So I don't really think it's a apples to apples comparison between the different models. I mean, one way to put it is it's like they're slightly different alien intelligences, and they're almost different species at this point. So not like species in terms of speciation from a human standpoint, but they feel like they're very different in the ways that they approach things. And I think it's underappreciated.
The big issue, as you know, right now in the marketplace is this view that ultimately these large language models that you've partnered with are going to figure out a way to ultimately create software that is similar, if not better, long-term than what all these software companies, including Figma, have done. What do you think of just that very premise?
Well, I think, first of all, we're not there today. And today, very much you need to steer these models. And I think that it's certainly the case that we're going to see more software than ever because of this. I think that humans will add diversity and more exploration than the models would alone. If you think about, yes, the models are non-deterministic, but they kind of come up with very similar stuff unless you steer them into a particular direction. And if you ask them to steer themselves even, they will still steer in predictable ways at first. So it really requires the human to create the trajectory for the model and light up their latent space and make it so that they can actually go figure out the right things to go do. And what I think we'll end up with is a place where, for software, design is a differentiator. And if you have a point of view for not just your company and your brand, but also for your product, and it all flows through about what your view on the world is as a company, that is going to be essential in a way that people, I think, do not fully understand or appreciate today. And actually, I think you'll need to have a view that's somewhat controversial. If you want to stand out in the attention economy of today, just sort of saying we sell apple pie is not going to cut it anymore.
You're rolling out a hybrid pricing model going forward, and this effectively means you're going to be enforcing seat credit limits, and I believe that starts next month. And so I just wonder how you think that's going to impact the paid customers.
Well, so we already, people are already paying for seats. We're actually giving them credits for inference here. And then that's something that we're trying to be generous about. And then if they go over the credit limit, then yes, they can basically go and get additional credits. And yeah, we're excited about seeing where this goes. This time last year, we didn't have any notion of AI credits in the platform. And now about 75% of our customers that are over $10,000 or more in ARR are consuming AI credits weekly. So we'll start monetization of these AI credits in March. And from there, I'm sure we'll be evolving with our customers and trying to figure out how we can create the best capabilities for them.